Hello, morphemes, phonemes, and graphemes, and welcome back to Office Hours, where we are not joined by Kate today. She is still off doing her own thing. And so in the meantime, we will do other things. But of course, as always, starting off with Wordle. Mm. O-N. No R, no S, no W. Nope, can't be Olden, because that has an N at the end. Um... I can get rid of some words. Nope. Nope is not a word, apparently, in Wordle. About notch. Oh? No H, so it can't be. But nuff probably isn't accepted as a word. Um. Hmm. Oh, that's wrong. Knotted would be. Oh! I did not mean to indent to there. But there's an E there. What? Word. Oh, shush. I wasn't planning on using it twice. I hit it by accident. Please believe me. Hmm. Nolly is not a word. Word. Plus it'd be an E there. I can't think of many three vowels in a row that's O something E. So I'm assuming that's a Novem. Nope, not Novem as an acronym, shortening of November. Novel. I knew I'd get there someday. Okay, let me go put this over on the uh, one ball real quick. Sworn, notch, knotted. God damn it, I tied for Kate again. Okay. And then moving on to connections. Ring, ankle, foot, bottom, base, knock, wallop, compression, foundation. So foundation, base, bottom, and then the foot. Those seem like they could be related. Buzz cut, crew cut. I don't think there's other cuts here. uh, I don't know, man. Language is weird. It's like saying trap versus entrap. They're the same exact meaning. It's just one is chosen for whatever reason over the other. Knock, wallop, ring. Those are like some things that can happen with a punch. Dress down to? Yeah, exact. Except that wouldn't be linguists. No, maybe buzz. Damn it. Shit. Let's just do... Okay. Base, bottom, foundation, foot. Okay, lowest part. Doing this in hard mode now. Parsnips. Parsnip, compare, compression. Shout, buzz, ring, dress. Knock. Oh, ways of like the letting people know you're there. Yeah, it's someone's front door. I got that one. And so crew, ankle, compare, parsnip, wallop, compression, dress, Connecticut. Hello, Melis. You got it? No! How dare you get it before I do? If I get it at all. Okay, so ankle is... Ankle. These all start with C. Screw. No, that's... Dresser wound, compression. Those are both hospital things. Wallop. I think of wallop, I think of like getting punched. There's also there's like a heavy blow, a person's ability to throw punches, an emotional impact, a thrill exciting reaction, anything produced by past that involves that I did not know. Thick piece of fat. Thinking of dollop. Shuffle. Um. Yeah, I'm not. I'm lost. I'm just gonna take a wild guess, I guess. Um, let's see what the hint image is. Very helpful. Crew ankle compression dress. That's not gonna be it. What? Crew socks. That's what those are called? Crew socks? I've always just called them sports socks. Huh. Dress socks, compression socks. Yeah, I know. I know compression leggings. Yeah, socks. Compare Wallop, Parsnip, Connecticut. What could this one be? Ending in synonyms for clip. Pair, cut, nip, and lop. That does not instill happiness within me. I don't like that. That is not a fan. 1978. The first spam message is sent trying to sell computers. It annoys hundreds of users, but it works. So when the first taxes are set in Egypt based on the Nile's water level, higher waters mean more crops, and higher taxes, lower waters lead to less to tax cuts. Huh. During the Cuban Missile Crisis, two Soviet officers tried to launch a nuclear weapon. A single man, Vasily. I know that event. That is before the computer, 1962. The writer Ctesias says a horse-like animal with a horn lives in India. The first mention of the mythical unicorn is probably based on a rhino. That sounds Greek to me. I'm going to set it there. Yes. Two of Teddy Roosevelt's sons go to China to find an elusive near mythical creature, the panda. They succeed, dispelling doubts of the animal's existence. That was a thing? 1928, 1929. The mythical panda. Oh, that's hilarious. I mean, if they continue their current mating habits, they're going to be near damn mythical in a few decades. There had to be a scale for temperature. No, wait, that's actually one hard thing to measure, isn't it? It's only with mercury that we were able to start accurately measuring stuff. Marilyn Monroe stars in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, who had a lifelong stutter. She speaks deliberately in a low, breathy voice. I did not know that. That is an interesting fact. Mount Rushmore is finished. It was meant to include the president's torsos, but the rock proves unsuitable, so it's just their faces. It was also stolen from the Is it the Blackfoot? No, Mount Rushmore. Who was it stolen from again? It was land that was given to the people, but then it was taken for this monument. The Black Hills. It's stolen from the Lakota. The Black Hills stolen from the Lakota. As is the story of America. Oh, 1 sec. Okay, I am back. I want my AirPods and my music. Okay, so this would be 1800s, I'm pretty sure. Fuck. Dr. Ignace Semmelweis says contamination can cause disease. His coworkers rejected his radical advice. Everyone should wash their hands. Yep, that was pre World War One. Yes, pre. That was 1847. That was well before World War One. Okay, then lingual. Visions. That. Wait. It has both a tilde and an N to mark nasalization, but the tilde is on top of the N, making an Nye. I know it's probably not Portuguese, but it's okay. So it's not same subfamily. It is in the same language family. Is it? It's not Flemish. I know. I know that, but I'm just trying to pinpoint. Uh, God, what's the? It's Brittany. Where's a Breton? Breton. There we go. Breton. I got it. I got it. Um, it's definitely. It's not Danish. I don't think it's Danish. Definitely not Dutch. Not German. It is Germanic. It's Scots. Okay, I'm gonna just do not Dutch, Danish. Yeah, that's what I thought. So Arabic, Czech, Dutch, French, German, Greek, Hebrew, Hindi, Hungarian, Indonesian, Irish, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Malay, Mandarin, Norwegian. Portuguese, Romanian, Russian, Scots, Slovak, Slovene, Spanish, Swedish, Tagalog, Thai, Turkish, Ukrainian, Urdu, Vietnamese, Welsh. That doesn't feel right. I don't see any other Germanic languages though. Or is it Sami? Dutch. Yes, very Dutch. German, Greek, Hebrew. I completely missed Swedish somehow. I completely jumped over Swedish. How did I forget about the Swedes? It's like when you're playing Scrabble and you see a word you can play and you're like, I don't know if this is a word. And then you play fucking cow. Uh, Duke Onion. Okay, I'm gonna. Not Amharic. What's the. It's a, Oh, what's a new language? It's a Semitic language. Or Afroasiatic, not Semitic. It's Afroasiatic. Hausa. No, Hausa has tone, doesn't it? It was Hausa. Woo! God damn it. What are the other languages that use the script? It's closer to Nepali. It's not Bengali, I know that. Um, Nepali, Pahari. He's down here, so it should be somewhere. Is it the. Oh god, what's the name of that language? Maithili. Damn it! Where's Maithili on this map? Maithili. Uh, Bihari? What's Bihari? I don't recognize. I don't see Bihari there. Hello, Nex. I am technically cheating. I don't give a shit. I don't know what language this could be. What do the colors mean? It doesn't give a guide on the colors. That's great. Okay, it's more in this. Bhojpuri. I don't know that language. Bhojpuri. 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 Bojburi. Oh, it writes in Kaiti. I don't. Kaiti, I recognize. Let's see. Classification. It's that yellow one there. Phonology. That is a stacked phonology. Why do all these languages retain such similar phonologies to each other? Um, Short, long, and redundant. Yeah, maybe. But they're also not all mutually intelligible with each other. Like you have the Hindu belt, or Hindustani belt. You have uh Gujarati, you have Punjabi, and they're similar enough, but they're still very different languages from what I can tell. And I don't know how much of that is grammatical, how much of that is based on the language, and how much of that is based on the culture. Because Hindi and Urdu are different languages because of the culture behind them and the history. And the fact that they're different standards, but that's a different topic. Hmm. Okay. Well, that's that. I guess that's not what I meant to do. Uh, Now on to just random linguistic projects as I wait for people to ask questions. Uh, Nizonga Niru. Elder brother sleeps. I read. Unlike in English, where to make a complete sentence, one needs both the verb and the subject as well as the occasional object. Japanese only requires the verb to make a complete sentence. When used in the present tense, just the dictionary form is used. Nomu, neru. To mark the past tense of a verb, the verb is placed into the euphonic form and ta is appended to the end. For unaccented verbs and accented godan verbs, the pitch accent doesn't change in the past tense. For accented ichiran verbs, the down step moves back one more. The past tense functions similarly in Japanese as into English. There's differences, but that's more grammatical constructions than meaning, from what I recall. Nonda, neta. Then there's the table, which I found out. I don't know how true this is, but I just couldn't find one. That there is no Heiban tsu verb that I can see. And if there is one, it's able to be, it's a compound with another verb, and it can be either accentless or accented, which I found fascinating. Still trying to find one, but so 使う、使った、飛ぶ、飛んだ、望む、望んだ、知る、知った、死ぬ、死んだ、聞く、聞いた。Yeah, no, it's a different morpheme, I guess, so I'll leave that as an E and not use the length marker. Kagu, kaida. Korosu, koroshita. Abiru, abita. Tsukeru, tsuketa. Ao, atta. Erabu, eranda. Tatsu, tatta. Nomu, nonda. Tsukuru, tsukutta. Kaku, kaita. Uyogu, uyoida. Hanasu, hanashita. Okiru, okita. Taberu, tabeta. Kuru, kita. Okay, now while this way of creating sentences is possible, it's not very common outside of certain contexts, like questions and answers. More often than not, the verb will be led by nouns plus particles that denote the noun's role in a sentence. The three most important particles that a particular verb may use are ga, o, and ni. Aside from ga, which all verbs take, it's important to memorize whether a verb takes either o, ni, or both, and what role each particle represents. Subject marker. To mark the subject of a sentence, the particle ga is appended to the end of the subject noun. Oftentimes, this can be dropped depending on if there is enough context to infer what the subject is. So, 私が読む。お兄さんが寝る。For certain verbs that describe experience, such as aru, iru, and wakaru, the noun marked by ga is often translated into English as an object. However, they are subjects in Japanese, not objects. It's just a translation convention and not actually representative of the Japanese sentence. I think that's better than... I think that it is better than what I had before, isn't it, Kat? I think you've already confirmed that as well. And, the object marker. To specify the object of a transitive verb, the particle o is used. Usually the subject will be dropped if it is already known or can be inferred from context, leaving just the object and the verb. 私が本を読む。本を読む。子供が朝ごはんを食べる。For pseudo-verbs, verbs built from nouns plus pseudo, o may optionally be placed between the noun and pseudo for emphasis. If the pseudo-verb already had an object marked by o, then the old object is marked by the genitive, there's a spelling mistake, is marked by the genitive no instead. Nihongo o benkyou suru, nihongo no benkyou o suru. O can be used with certain intransitive verbs of motion, such as iku, aruku, to denote a place one goes through or along. What Discord message? One sec, a friend just sent me a Discord message. Ooh. Definitely do something medieval style. A friend was sending me a style they were thinking of doing for a video game. That's good. Yeah, I'm just formatting my old Japanese notes. I say that, but I keep most of the knowledge in my head. So I'm just formatting what I've learned over the years and the little notes I do have and comparing it to different textbooks and grammar books. I'm making a grammar document for people to use for free. Hi, kitty. Hi, Booter. Aren't you so cute? Okay, bye, Booter. Sorry, I had to disturb my cat. My sister's cat, actually, not my cat. All can be used with intransitive motion, such as iku. Yeah, what's actually going on here is something I find fascinating. Is that obviously there's differences between languages on verbs that are intransitive and transitive. And oftentimes in linguistics, there'll be an English centric focus, an English centric skew. And so words like words of motion like to go, to walk, to run, uh those are all seen as intransitive and they use particles to denote their stuff. And because of that, all is oftentimes, most oftentimes, shown as a particle in, uh, yeah, not as a particle, as a preposition, add a postposition in this case, similar to English. However, I'm fairly certain these verbs are just transitive in Japanese. Because it's only with these verbs that the particle o has this meaning. But I haven't been able to find anything on that, so there's a good chance they're just intransitive and it's a special usage of o. But I think these verbs in Japanese are transitive. Yeah. Okay, good to know categories to me. All I need is cat's validation. The particle ni indirect locational particle, the worst fucking particle in the entire language. I hate this thing with a passion. The particle ni has many uses in Japanese, but the two introduced here are that of the indirect and locational meanings. Should do locative. Some verbs in English, such as to send or to write, are ditransitive, meaning that alongside the object there can be a secondary object that receives the first. This is known as the indirect object. In Japanese, this is marked by ni. お母さんに手紙を送った。先生にレポートを書いた。書いた書いた書く書いた Certain verbs in relation to people may just take only ni. 友達に会った。Oh, I forgot to put the I still need to figure out the YouTube memberships. Is that set up? Did I set that up already? I think I did. I am sidetracking, I know. One sec. Um. Yeah, I need to figure that out. Okay, back to this thing. Yeah, I feel like it is a Eurocentric thing to have them be only be only intransitive. And there are other verbs of motion, like to drive. I drove to the store, I drove the car to the store. Experiential verbs like aru, iru, wakaru also take ni to who or where an experience happens. It's important to remember that all these sentences are translated such that the noun marked with ni becomes the object, becomes the subject in English, and the ga the object. This is merely a translation convention and not representative of the actual Japanese sentence. 教師に学生がいる。 教師に学生がいる。私に日本語がわかる。For verbs of movement, ni doesn't mark an indirect, but instead marks the destination of the movement. 学校に行く。家に帰る. Nope, that's the only part that should be italicized is home. Now, while it is important to remember that these general trends, you don't need to memorize these. Instead, when you learn a verb, learn what particles go with it and what they represent. Some verbs classified as phrasal verbs may require a different particle than these basic three, but these are usually a small handful of verbs where the general use case of the particles may not make intuitive sense to an English speaker. I might have. I really like Scripting Japan's work. His videos are quite nice. Let me just pull this up for later. Scripting Japan particles. Yeah, okay, I've seen the vid. I have not seen the video, but I've seen it recommended to me. I should actually watch that. Okay, and that's basic verbal sentences. I think that is about the most basic you can get with verbal sentences without going into deeper detail for other use cases. I can't think of anything else that can go there. So I'm gonna put that off. I'm gonna get rid of this. Ooh. Okay. This is still a very rough document, if you couldn't tell. No is a multifunctional particle that is used when one wants to modify one noun with another. One common way it is used is to showcase possession. No is added after the possessor, and the possessee is placed afterwards. Put this in. 私の電話 my phone, 先生の机 the teacher's desk. However, it can also show general relationships where the second noun is the main idea and the first noun narrows the scope of what the second noun refers to. 日本の大学言語学の分野言語学言語学言語学の分野分野 What's the pitch accent there? My Japanese keyboard. 分野分野 Okay, yeah, I'll watch that after the stream. And then, so that's basic verbal sentences. I don't want. Okay, past. I moved the past tense up into basic verbal sentences. I have two different things for. Okay, why don't I do. And to. Particles wa, mo, and to. They're not exactly equivalent to each other, but There are 3 more particles one should learn at this stage. Actually, should I include de here? Might include de. I'm gonna include de. I think these plus ga, o, and ni are the most basic particles. Gengogaku no bunya would be more like subfield of linguistics. Would it? I guess, yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense. I think here, though, I was showcasing its a certain ability it has to emphasize. What's the term? Let me 1 sec. Let me pull up the OBJ real quick. They should be get its own thing like ni. Yeah, there are a few. You're right. There are quite a few uses. Okay, yeah, I'll still introduce de in these notes. But I'll give it its own little section. Maybe it's that. It's 1 sec. Let me. Uh, what was this meaning again? A is professor of, A is location, B exists. Where was this? That's a nominalizer. Yeah, the meaning of, like, when you say the teacher, Mr. John Agan, it's like that meaning, an adjunct. Adjunct, that's the term. Linguistics adjunct. Nope, not adjunct. Is it adjunct? Wait, what's. What's the term for when you're saying the book The Little House by the Prairie is a good read? Like that phrase where it's like 2 nouns right next to each other. The second one describes the first. What is the. Is it noun adjunct? I can't think of what that's called at the moment. Yeah, let me. A field in linguistics. Parenthetical phrase? No, that doesn't sound. I mean, yeah, it kind of works. Maybe it is that. It still doesn't feel exactly like what I was trying to describe, though. Feels just slightly off. Wa, mo, to, and de. This section. In this section, wa, mo, to be explained as de. Hello, Joseph. Wa is what's known as a topic marker. It marks the topic of conversation or what is being talked about. Most often, you will see this being the subject of a sentence, but it could be the subject, object, indirect object, location, or anything else. When used to mark the subject or object, ga and o are replaced by wa, while the topic particle is placed after all other particles. 私は先生にレポートを書く。レポートは先生に書く。先生にレ先生にはレポートを書く。Because of this usage in setting topics, a particle is often used to mark contrasts, as can be seen below. 私は先生に聞く。お兄さんはお母さんに聞く。Oh, I ask the teacher, my brother asks our mom. The particle mo is another common particle, though unlike the topic particle, which shows contrast, this particle showcases similarity. Often translated as to or also, this particle is also placed after the thing that has the similarity, and also replaces ga and o, but goes after other particles. 私も先生にレポートを書く。私は先生にレポートも書く。私は先生にもレポートを書く。I find it amusing how all of that translates into English as I also write the paper for the teacher. But it's just emphasis. I also write the paper for the teacher. I also write the paper for the teacher. I also write the paper for the teacher. And you guys, you can see him. He blends in, but he is there. That is true. But that feels very formal and very. That sounds. Yeah, that sounds literary to an extent. Or at least in my lect, I don't think I would hear that one all that often. Okay, then bring up to. Oh, that needs a styling. To is a particle that is placed after the noun that is being included. The whole phrase is then used as one unit. Notice how the sentence order is swapped between the English and Japanese and English translations. This is because in English, and modifies the following noun, while to modifies the preceding noun. To doesn't change the pitch accent of the noun. Gakusei to. Okay, that's very unfinished. Gakusei to. Actually, wait, I don't need to. I don't need the pitch accent there, actually, because why does it keep adding random spaces? Okay, there's a random space there. There's the other random space. There we go. 学生と先生、お母さんとお父さん。Okay, and then the second usage of it. To, when used with just one noun. To also carries the meaning. Also carries the meaning of with. It shows that both people are committing to one action together. That's how you spell committing. For verbs like ao, that make particle ni, to can be used instead with a nuance that both people are participating. Okay, and I think this is going to need two examples. 学生は先生と教室にいた。The student went with. Why don't I also emphasize this part. Teacher with the classroom. And then 友達に会った versus 友達と会った。Just have と first and then に I met with a friend versus I met a friend. There's a subtle nuance there. と also carries the meaning of with. I feel like I could format this better. No, those are straight quotation marks. No, that's just gonna be the arm. Also carries the meaning of with. Actually, wait, I can just... What? Topic particle. Oh. More. Inclusive particle. Then to. Not inclusive particle. This is the inclusive particle. Um, God, what is? Yeah, I don't know what that XP thing is. It just appeared one day, and I can like look up at my top fans, and it's Nex currently has 125 XP for all the messages you've sent, and Cat has 100 or so. I think they're just trying to make it more like Twitch. I think. But yeah, I have no idea when or why that popped up. It was just there one day. Um, what would more be called? What is also as well Wiktionary? Like, what concept is that trying to convey? Wiktionary calls it a non-unique topic marker. Non-unique particle. Then I think I can just. Oh, damn it! There we go. Uh, yeah, I think grouping it underneath here is good. It's still technically separate. It really needs to be separated. It's easy to separate out from the rest. No relational article. Among the basic particles shown above that most verbs call for in rounding sentences, these are the foremost. What other uses does they have? I know it's locative, where something happens, and instrumental, the tool that something happens with. Those are the only ones I can really think of aside from the forms of deaths. Huh. There we go. De has two general uses as a particle. First is as a locative marker, showcasing where an action occurs. 部屋で寝る。寝る。I sleep in my room. 部屋で寝る。I sleep in my room. No, you're falling for it next. Don't fall for it. Um. Oh God, what's the? I don't know the word for dining. I'll just use 食堂。食堂で昼ご飯を食べる。I'm just gonna copy that. I eat lunch at the dining room. The process is a locative marker showcasing where an action occurs. 部屋で寝る。食堂で昼ご飯を食べる。The second usage is to mark the tool that something. Let's mark the tool in an action. Is translated as with in English. Actually, wait, no, I can inclusive commutative particle. There we go. The commutative. How do you spell commutative? Okay, that's how you spell it. Commutative. Commutative. I also have YouTube Premium, though I don't pay for it because my mom hates ads. So she got YouTube Premium, and I was like, "Hey, mom, for like $2-3 more, you can get it for everybody in the family with a family plan." And so I'm mooching off of her YouTube Premium. Because one, I like the fact that some of that money goes to the creators. I think a lot more of it should go to the creators that watch the video. That make the videos. YouTube should not be getting as large a cut as it does. And two, I hate ads. Ads have become so. I want sponsors. Because I can guarantee you, as soon as I get a sponsor, there's going to be no ads for that video for as long as possible if it works. Because ads are the literal bane of existence. That is fair. And again, I think YouTube needs to give a bigger cut to its creators than it currently does. And I try to make it uh okay, they take 45% premium subscriptions. YouTube keeps 30% of the revenue. But then what? That feels. According to Stream Weasel. That is much better than. I could have sworn it was Apple. It's. That still feels a lot, but that's not as bad as I was thinking. No, it's the Apple tax that was the problem. That's going away soon, though, isn't it? It's Ringo go 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 go. Apple. I got a pen. I got an apple. Mm. Apple pen. Commutative particle. But it is important to use to. It is important to remember to use to for doing something with somebody and they for doing something with a tool. The second usage is to mark the tool in an action. This is translated as with in English, similar to the commutative particle, but it is important to remember to use to for doing something with somebody and de for doing something with a tool. That is fair. I'm still gonna. Okay, I'm gonna keep this and I'm gonna do a little note. I'm gonna just mark the. Marked with. Marked using. With. Or using. English. I'm gonna make a little translation note below. Shide taberu. Why do I keep with? There we go. Why do I keep typing T before I? I eat with chopsticks. 筆で書ける。の、書く。I write a brush. So, 箸で食べる。I eat with using chopsticks. 筆で書く。I write with using a brush. What did I title the basic verbal sentences notes? More particles. And then I'll come down here to more particles notes. There we go. Both to and de can be translated into English as with. However, it may be confusing when translating English into Japanese, which article to use. Something to remember is that if with in English can be replaced with using, then de is required. If with can't be replaced with using, then to is used instead. Does that feel... that feels better? Leaving it as like a little notes at the end. That way I can include both. Oh, I don't like how that gets lumped into the very final one, though. Okay, so maybe... I didn't realize that with this one, but maybe have it as its own. It is kind of odd. And it's always weird seeing it as different. I was like, I think it's... is that a Euroverse? I don't think that's a Euroversal. Standard average European. I don't think that is considered a definite paraphrase phrase with have a preponderance of generalizing predicates to encode experiences. Experiences appear as surface subjects in nominative case. I like music instead of music pleases me. Though compare Italian mi piace la musica. Yeah, so this is more common cross-linguistically. Passive construction formed with a passive participle plus an intransitive copula. Prominence of anti-accusative dative external possessors. This one confuses me when learning German. Die Mutter wischt dem Kind die Haare. A negative indefinite particle comparatives. Equative constructions. Yes, that is a Europism. Eurism. Your That is a European feature. Really? Why is it? Because that my native language is English. Yeah, I understand it semantically why that construction exists and why it's so common, but in English, that is just not a thing. But in German and Spanish, it is. It is kind of a thing in Japanese as well, to an extent. It's not dative, but it's 男の人は目が茶色です。It's the date. It's using the topicalization to an extent. Different structures, same effects and whatnot. But yeah, the conflation of instrumental and comitative is very much a European thing. uh, Better check yourself next time. But oh, this is just a section discussing the difference between to and ni. I can get rid of that. I really don't like how it collapses like that. Anyway. To. Yeah, sorry. I should have. Yeah, in Japanese, it is very common, from what I've learned, to instead of saying, um, so in English you have his eyes are brown. Instead of translating that literally to, let me do the student. Instead of translating that to literally,学生の目は茶色です。Where this is the student's eyes are brown. It's more common to hear 学生は the student, that's a topic particle. Mega, subject eyes. Chairo desu. So it's basically saying, as for the student, the eyes are brown. And that is like that is a very common way of phrasing that. more common than this, from what I understand. But you do see this every now and then, especially if you want to emphasize if the I is the topic and not the student. What gets real funny though is that this also applies to, say, height. So, 私は, as for me, 背が高い. As for me, the height is tall, is how that literally translates. You need to specify that it's the height that is the thing. And you never really hear 私は高いです. I don't know if you do hear it. My Japanese isn't that good enough. Kat, you can correct me if this does get heard every now and then, but from what I understand, it is the height towards me. To me, the height is tall. Or to me, the height is short. Yeah, that's... I've never... I mean, I barely speak Japanese. I'm just finishing Genki 2. My Japanese will become a lot better after I study it in grad school, but it's not there yet. Yeah, but from my understanding, it is describing people with directly with adjectives, like physical appearance wise. That structure is the most common. I need to go through this and actually fix the formatting. I just realized because there's a bunch of little formatting mistakes. Or inconsistencies, I should say. Okay, let's see. So we have pitch accent, which don't think I need to change anything here. Verbs. I need to change that back to that verb notes, but I think this is good. I have to go through and fix up some formatting stuff and consistencies. No, as a relationship, I need to talk about the effect on pitch accent. But you understand Japanese. You know Japanese. I don't. Yeah, age. That is an interesting one as well. Or just measurements in general. Like in English, it is I am. You are the age. And you can be the age in German and France, if I remember correctly. Ich bin... In Germany, you say Ich bin 22 Jahre alt. But in France, you have the age. But then the one that really gets me is Chinese, Mandarin. You forgot an enye. You forgot an enye there, Cat. Even I know that much. You didn't? Wait, isn't it? Year is años, isn't it? Año? Yeah, you forgot an enye. Oh, you. Oh. Anyway, so in Czech it's to you, but in Mandarin Chinese, if I remember correctly, from what I remember, again, Kat can back me up on this or correct me if I'm wrong. You don't really say have to or any of that. It's just 我是对 it's just you say who it is and then you say the years. And that's just the construction for it. And this was really confusing to me until again, Kat, please correct me if I'm wrong. This is from remembering this from 3 years ago or so. This is the way it's done for measurements in general. I don't know the word for meter in Chinese, in Mandarin. I just looked up Mandarin. Meter. Me. 桌子 I don't know. 你是你米 R 是 R me. Then you do the adjective of, say, long or something. Cat can. Very important. Again, I have not done Chinese in literal years. Do not take me for on my word. That sounds about right. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. I need to add pitch accent here. To note is that while no generally falls under the usual trend of matching pitch. It's noun. If oh god, what? It's only Odaka, I think. Not Nakadaka. Let me. You don't know how to do that. But then I'm being dishonest. I can't be dishonest. My entire brand is based on being a reliable source of information. Okay, so noun ending in what is that word? Yeah, this is why I'm trying not to use the Japanese words in English instructions because it is okay. Tokushu haku, special beats. They circular through various processes. So, okay, I see. So, the table above shows that no, it does not affect certain Nakadaka nouns. Now, particles are categorized into 4 groups based on how they modify. I know nothing about, but I feel like throwing a boot somewhere would negate it pretty well enough. I wonder if it would take me. However, these do not modify no sometimes reduced to this particle only to the accents nouns with odaka accent and do not affect other nouns. Yeah. So no the accents odaka, but only odaka. The table above shows that the particle no does not affect certain nakadaka nouns. However, when nakadaka noun ends in a special mora, no the accent is just like it does in odaka noun. Nihon, nihon no, nippon, nippon no. Okay, so that I should mention that. It has been argued that this behavior of these nakadaka nouns coupled with that of odaka nouns is proof that Japanese is syllabic rather than Moraic one. Syllables do exist in Japanese despite some objections such as lebrun. These two groups of nouns can be classified as accented in the last syllable and deaccented, followed by no because the other. Is that still an argument people are making that Japanese doesn't have syllables? Like I'm sorry, that is a universal of every language, is that syllables exist. What's not universal is whether the grammar interacts with it or not. Like, I'm sorry, you cannot argue that syllables do not exist. And what is this bullshit about is a syllabic language rather than a Moraic one? Every language interacts with syllables in moras. English interacts with syllables in moras. Typology is a fucking scam. I'm sorry. I hate uh it's oh god. It's the weight is what it is. So it determines the stress and whatnot. How do I describe this? So it's like open versus closed syllables. That is Moraic. An open syllable is one mora, closed syllable is two mora, and it has to do with meter and poetry and whatnot. I am not really great with it. But if you think about there once was a man from Nantucket. The You'll often see that not only does it rhyme, but the stress falls on the same beat each time, but it only works if one, it's a stress syllable that the beat falls onto, and two, it is a closed syllable generally. Limericks, that's what they are. I don't do poetry. I should mention that. I am not good at poetry. But it is a useful more are used in poetry quite frequently. This is it's contentious? That doesn't feel right. Yeah, look into it yourself. I may be compelled to do a video later on it, but Mora is just weight, the weight of a syllable. Actually, something I did learn recently is I was reading a paper about Japanese, and I remember seeing something about how. Yeah, that is fair. Um, I was reading this paper how Japanese disallows monomoraic words. As in, you can't have words that are a single mora long in Japanese. And the way they have a repair strategy for this, in that they lengthen it if there is a one mora long word. So the word for sun, he, is usually lengthened to he. It's lengthened to like 50% longer than usual. And it's not identical to long words with long vowels. I need I'm tired. I'm confusing myself. Yeah, that makes sense. Stress accent, it exists, but nobody can find it. Anyway, back to this thing. Nominal Udaka exception. Certain Udaka nouns and Nakadaka nouns ending in, including ancient place names, are not accented by no. No. Tosa, mino, tsugino. Wait, tsugino isn't. Really? Neither is sense. Wait, so certain words aren't affected by the de-accenting? What is the. I need to look up that. Cambridge University. Okay, I need to look up that book to see if they have better, deeper rules there. But is it really just on a word by word basis? 予想。100の。Because these are. What type of word? These are proper names. Those are proper nouns. But then 予想 is a place. Of the place, a relational. Okay, I think I'm just gonna end the stream there, as I am tired. We're coming up on the 2-hour mark, and yeah, I'm just tired. But I think I'll end things there. I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully with Kate, for more Baldur's Gate. If not, I'll probably just continue doing some Minecraft. And then office hours are same time next week. But until then, I bid you all adieu.